Hi, guys. Lanky Sheet the 2D Ninja here. This time, I'd like to talk about why it's not recommended to take some troublemakers to the extreme. Please note that this advice message video is for constructive criticism purposes, and do not go out of your way to attack any of the users mentioned here. Anyways, let's begin. Okay, everyone, please listen to me very carefully. You guys should not be taking troublemakers to the extreme because not every troublemaker is 100% bad. As Flat 2DNZJM Dimensional Moody said before, there are a lot of troublemakers that have flashbacks on why they are harming the world and what led them to do awful stuff. For example, two of My Little Pony OC characters, Serena Basil and her mother, Quarrel Spite, were troublemakers in the past, and neither of them were pure evil. Super Mario Plush confirmed to me that Serena Basil's father, Mid-B, one of his My Little Pony OC characters, is pure evil. But I've confirmed that Serena and her mother are not. I decided to start making a movie called The Video Game Avengers, The Terror of Mid-B, and it will contain flashbacks on what happened between Serena, Quarrel, and Mid-B. The flashbacks will explain why Serena and her mother were doing bad stuff in the past, but you have to wait until 2025 or 2026 to find out because that's when the movie will come. Yep, sometimes the parents are the problem to why troublemakers are harming the world. Deacon's father got fired from his cop job because he wasn't trying to stop Deacon at all. If you're a parent, then you need to keep track of your child, stop them from doing bad things, and get them some help. I also remember when Lamar had a brutal punishment day. As a lot of you may know, that punishment day was on his 18th birthday. Even though Corey Comedian 2K2 probably didn't mean to portray Lamar's parents as villains before this video. What Lamar's parents did to him was still abusive and downright brutal. I am aware that Corey Comedian 2K2 confirmed that Lamar's parents were criminals before Lamar's 18th birthday. But I heard nothing about that before the Lamar Gets Taught a Strict Lesson on his birthday video came out. So that's why I thought that Corey Comedian 2K2 probably meant to portray Lamar's parents as non-troublemakers and good people. Yes, troublemakers deserve at least one present on their birthday. You don't need to officially reward your child if they were doing bad things, but don't go too far on them. As Jad and the Viand Lightning Wave Animation 2K6 stated before, troublemakers deserve the same treatment as the non-troublemakers, except for the worst ones such as the Reapers. Some definite examples of taking troublemakers to the extreme include sending them to foreign countries, celebrating their deaths, disowning them, assaulting them, etc. I'll talk about the videos that involve parents sending troublemakers to foreign countries and explain why they are good in my thoughts, even though I shouldn't watch them. When Sid James asked me on my thoughts on videos that involve parents sending troublemakers to a different country after they did something bad, here was my response. Parents sending troublemakers villains to a different country counts as taking troublemakers way to the extreme. For example, Afghanistan is currently occupied by a terrorist organization called the Taliban. So sending a troublemaker to Afghanistan now while the country is occupied by the Taliban would be like a death sentence. Not to mention that it's not that easy to find a place to stay if you're sent away to an unknown place, which would possibly make you homeless. As MJ the Spirit said before, if you make a video that involves parents sending different troublemakers to foreign countries even though the troublemaker doesn't want to travel, then that's undeniable neglect because they are being sent there with no money, no supplies, no parents, and no direction to go. And as Azeri Adamo said, that counts as just going too far and the parents could end up endangering the child if it's a place where it's not safe. Next, well, even though I already talked about why disrespecting a bad person's funeral or death is bad, I'll explain once again how this counts as taking them to the extreme. Even if it's a bad person, it's still disrespectful to celebrate someone's death. Making a video about a character getting rewarded for disrespecting a troublemaker's death is like disrespecting the dead. Even if it's a bad person, why in the world would you laugh about someone being dead, disrespecting their death, and laughing at someone else's pain? Doing that can make you cruel. There is absolutely nothing good about disrespecting the dead even if some of those people did bad stuff in the past. Again, bad person or not, you still have no right to disrespect their deaths because everyone has feelings, even if they are bad people or troublemakers. True, there are movie villains who die, but there isn't a scene where the heroes disrespect the villain that they killed and celebrate their death. There can be scenes where a person is honored as a hero for saving the world, but everyone knows death isn't good at all. Nothing good comes out of it even if they are bad people. Troublemakers and villains still had a good life before they became bad. Tristan Davidson had a good life, Childish Dad had a good life, Trip had a good life, Chloe Walker had a good life. Various troublemakers had good lives before they became bad. And surprisingly, the same can be said for various criminal users, even though I hate them as much as you all do. Even though I hate Matrix Infinity, the Super Mario, Sonic and Pokemon guy 1997 because he confirmed to me that he dated a minor, I don't think I can deny that he had a good life. So yeah, even though I hate them, and I'm not defending criminal users, people such as Matrix Infinity, the Super Mario, Sonic and Pokemon guy 1997, Seth Mealy, and Yankee did have good lives. Of course, this is likely a possibility, and all of those characters and users likely had good lives before they became bad, even though I don't like criminal users. I'm aware that the characters and users I just mentioned are not dead yet, but my point still stands. Disrespecting a bad person's death is still a very bad idea. As Flat 2DNZJM Dimensional Moody said before, there is nothing cool about visiting a funeral because it's all about death, and there's nothing fun about it at all. Even if it's a villain's funeral, funerals and death are not laughing matters. Now, when it comes to how disownment can at times lead to someone taking troublemakers to the extreme, let's take Carla, Yuna, Brianna, and Tiana's parents for example. Yes, it's true that I made a video about them redeeming themselves, but disowning a child can lead to them getting endangered and abused. Carla, Brianna, and Tiana were adults at the time, but Yuna was not, and it's unlikely that they knew how to take care of themselves before they got disowned. Yes, I know that the Molly gang are currently adults, and I'm sure that Carla, Yuna, Brianna, and Tiana have learned to take care of themselves after they got disowned. But the thing is, what the Molly gang and a couple of other troublemaking groups did to cause trouble wasn't even that big compared to what the Reapers and far worse villains did. What their parents did was very similar to what the Trip Gang's parents did in 2021, and the only person in the Trip Gang that got justice was Samantha Webster. No one deserves this. No one deserves to be on the streets, alone, tired, hungry and have nowhere to go. Disowning a child is like sending them to a foreign country. And what about if the troublemaker kills their own family, or if the child is far too dangerous to have? Well, that is an entirely different story. Those people may go somewhere far away where their life has nothing because they no longer have a family. It's understandable if you disown your child for committing serious crimes such as murder and kidnapping, but for a small mistake such as forgetting to inspect their vehicle? Nope. True, people have gotten in trouble with the police for failing to get their vehicles inspected, but that crime has been labeled as an infraction, not a misdemeanor or a felony. It's also not entirely understandable if someone disowns their child for committing a misdemeanor because even though they are more severe than infractions, they are less severe than felonies. Still, parents need to keep track of their child, try to stop them from doing bad things, and get them some help. What the Trip Gang's parents, except for Samantha's mom, did was the exact opposite, and that's why those parents are punished. Finally, it's time I get to the big part of this advice message. How videos about troublemakers and villains getting assaulted by people who are meant to be portrayed as good people count as taking troublemakers and villains to the extreme. For example, do you remember when Sage's crew assaulted the Trip Gang for revenge in some of Animation Sensation 2's videos? When Animation Sensation 02 made those videos about Sage's crew getting revenge, he was making the revenge plot too extreme, and he didn't make Trip and his gang fight back. You can't make a battle where only good guys can fight, the villains need to fight back too. That's one way how a battle becomes more interesting. Troublemakers getting tortured to the point they can't move or are almost dead is not a battle, it's assault. What Sage and his crew were doing were battery and assault. And to be honest, they, along with the Trip Gang, needed to be punished for what they did. Now, I'm going to be honest. Some people such as Weathester4000 Video, Flat 2DNZJM Dimensional Moody, Super Mario Plush, and I made videos about heroes beating up troublemakers. But even though some people are still taking some troublemakers to the extreme, some people such as me, Super Mario Plush, and flat 2D NZJM dimensional moody don't do that as much anymore after we realized that we were wrong to put good people beating up troublemakers. In fact, the video game Avengers, The Terror of Mid-B, a movie I'll release in the future, will contain fights between heroes and villains, and they are not going to be one-sided. According to MJ the Spirit, you can't get rewarded for beating up someone, and you could likely get kicked out of a place or get arrested. Which all leads to me, Nasty Zog, and others realizing that putting good people beating up troublemakers without letting the villains fight back in our videos was wrong. When Sid James asked me about my opinion on character beating up back videos counts as taking troublemakers to the extreme, here was my response. It does, because it proves that the character who beats up a different troublemaker back is nothing but a hypocrite. If someone was so against what a different person did to them, then why would they be doing the same thing? I mean, yes, I may be a hypocrite because of me saying this. But there have been multiple times when I made videos about people getting revenge on the troublemakers by beating them up even though most of the beatings weren't shown. But then again, we all have proven ourselves to be hypocrites time after time. If there's going to be a fight between characters, then the fight should at least have characters fighting back against each other, not have the battle be entirely one-sided. I want you all to imagine as if you were working in the same workplace as some of your enemies. If your enemies were bullying you while you were working, then the solution would not be to get revenge on them by beating them up. If you were to keep getting revenge on your enemies every single time they make you feel wronged, then things would get worse to the point where all of you would be dead. That's because you and your enemies decided to take each other to the extreme up to the point of trying to murder each other, or you were trying to get yourselves in big trouble. Oh, and let's not forget about Brutal Punishment Day videos either. That is another prime example of troublemakers getting taken to the extreme. It maybe was why Kaylau and Dora caused trouble in Samster 5677's universe. It takes one bad thing those parents abuse the crap out of them. Like they think they know what they are doing. Some grounded videos and Punishment Day videos I've seen involve punishments, such as the children getting run over a car, being pooped or buffed on, and other bullcrap. As some of you know, Lamar almost died due to the fact that he got brutally punished on his 18th birthday because of him being thrown out of a window and other crap. At least Lamar had a good ending after a huge fallout on his birthday. But I'm also going to talk about Roku-kun the Vinder's video about Dora getting a brutal punishment day. For example, in Roku-kun's video about Dora getting a punishment day on her birthday, one of her punishments was being burned alive with gasoline. That is extremely dangerous, and you can die if you keep playing around with those. No, it's not even funny. This is almost like murder. Burning someone alive with gasoline is not an assault, it's murder, and you can get arrested if you do this in real life, even if you do it to a troublemaker or villain. I can handle opinions on Punishment Day videos, but punishments like cutting a body part off and trying to kill someone is not what you should do at all. The part where Dora's teacher and principal cut her eyes off is a prime example of what Officer Loop 247 made in 2015. You shouldn't even cut someone's eyes off with a knife. People can't see without their eyes. If someone actually decided to cut someone else's eyes off with a knife, then that's seriously murder. The part where Dora's parents, enemies, teacher, and principal cut her hair off with a chainsaw was also very bad because it led to Dora getting tortured. Why in the world would people want to do this to kids? Seriously, chainsawing your child like that is definitely abuse, and you can go to jail if you did something like that. Roku-kun's version of Dora did not get justice before the Dora's family gets executed video came out. People just wanted her dead because of what she did in Roku-kun's universe. At the end of the video, the Digimon characters killed her. They asked what's wrong at first, and after she told them what happened, they were like, well, good. You suck. So yeah, Roku-kun the Vinder definitely went too far on that video. Way too far. There was also a video PayPaLuigi99 made about Kaylau getting punished, and that video involved Kaylau being forced to suffer in a desert, getting raped, etc. If people were punished severely like that, then that can lead to someone's memories when they were good people getting destroyed. Their childhood would be broken too. Now, before I decide to end this advice message video, there are some more things that I want you all to remember. As it was determined many times, not all villains are pure evil. If you're going to put a villain getting killed, then it would make more sense for you to put another villain killing them. Death the Hate Master does not count as someone who takes Troublemakers to the extreme, because he does at times have the Reapers target Troublemakers in the Reapers series. And the Reapers are villains in a way. Having heroes and villains engage in a battle where both sides can land their fair share of blows on each other is okay. But you shouldn't have the battle be completely one-sided to the point where a villain can't fight against the hero. The only time hero characters can kill a villain is if it's necessary for them to do so, with a need to survive for the greater good, mercy killing and ending someone's misery. Are left with no other choice, or a sacrifice that saves more lives and putting an end to an evildoer that will do more harm than good if left alive. So yeah, various people and I are not going to do any more videos where villains get beaten up by characters that are supposed to be portrayed as good people, because it's wrong. Instead, there will be many battles where heroes and villains can fight back against each other. But you should never put a hero celebrating a villain's death. If someone does a crime, then whether they can be forgiven depends on who they are and the severity of the crime. Infractions and misdemeanors are less serious than felonies. As Flat 2DNZJM Dimensional Moody stated before, bad people, such as criminal users, can be hated, but everyone, even extreme troublemakers, had good lives before they became that person. Like with Lion from Stan and Friends. Lion was a normal person, until he started doing evil things, became a virus, and merged with Junla. Unfortunately, there was no redemption for him. If he stayed alive, the world would have gotten corrupted even more. I feel Junla losing his two friends Joe and Lion, but Lion had to go. Everyone thought he was a normal person, but he wasn't. Junla felt hurt when he had no choice but to betray his other friend Lion, but all Lion would have did was ruin the world. But this is how the world works. People get born and come to the world, and then they die when it's their time. Lion knows where he is going. I also want you to remember that troublemakers, such as Dark Bowser and Dylan Dawson, don't always want to cause trouble all the time, and it's not really a hobby. They don't go out of their way to cause trouble every day and hurt people, and it's unlikely that is even a hobby. You don't really see troublemakers such as Raven Fernandez, Preston Campbell, Viley Anderson, Penelope Taylor, and Dylan Dawson getting grounded every day, do you? Well, not all torture on troublemakers is bad, but even if you do find troublemakers getting grounded all the time, you need to understand that troublemakers don't need to be a nightmare all the time. So of course, there are some troublemakers that you really shouldn't take to the extreme. Anyways, I believe that's all I would like to say about people taking troublemakers to the extreme. I hope you all understood everything I said in this video. This is Lanky Sheet the 2D Ninja, signing off. I'll see you guys later.